Joe Bauer said that he would be here, so we should see him momentarily.
Okay.
Nicole Olwin should be here. Dr. Meliwish is an excused absence. He mentioned that he will be, you are welcome to join us at the table here, Amber Jane.
Nicole said she'd be a few minutes late, but she's on the way.
Okay. And Rob Lekas will not make it. Hey, Joe, how's it going, man?
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, been a long time, yeah. So we've got a couple of excused absences today. Is our live stream going?
Woo! Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And so does that mean that folks can watch us on Facebook?
Yes.
Via YouTube?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. And then this meeting every month also gets broadcast on the public media network?
Yep. YouTube usually. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we are live streaming. I did send out a draft agenda for everybody. Are there any comments, any changes, any suggestions for the agenda today? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved for this evening. I did send out the draft April meeting minutes. There was one correction. Amber Jane, if you could note, the Be Joyful, B-E-E, joyful, play on words, like a bee, building bee. Be Joyful is the store name in the minutes.
Okay.
From April.
I have 3 corrections for page 3.
Awesome, yeah.
Minutes from last month.
Yep. And Amber Jane is back there doing, so,
Do you want me to catch up with you afterwards, or?
No,
Thank you.
let's do it now while we're,
She does have to leave early.
Oh.
yeah, let's just do it now.
Okay. I can just,
Thank you.
Yeah.
rather than yell back and forth.
There you go.
Let me just do this.
Okay. I didn't even have time to do mine before.
I'm kind of feeling it too. I forgot like my notebook and a pen. I had to borrow it. New job stickers, I guess. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Any other corrections? Any other corrections to the meeting minutes from last month? Anybody notice? Pending any other corrections that you might notice, and I might email, as we've discussed before, to Amber Jane over the next week or so. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. April meeting minutes are approved, pending any further corrections over the next week or so. Any announcements? What's new in Kalamazoo?
3 peregrine chicks.
Yay.
Oh yeah, they look big already too.
Yeah. They're getting banded on Monday. Should be, ruffling a lot of feathers, milk and rodeo, Monday morning, first thing. So, anyway, that's my update.
How long do those chicks stay in the nest before they take their first flight?
It's supposed to be 40 days. They never wait that long.
Okay.
So I block off 35 to 45 days
Okay, gotcha.
of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, so, usually they start exploring, they'll be exploring outside the nest next week.
Okay.
Ooh. That's when I get all these gray hairs.
Ah.
Not more gray hairs.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm.
All right. Do we have any, before we get into the meat of our meeting, do we have any comments by any citizens? Is there anybody kind of waiting on the line to make any comments? Any citizen comments from the audience?
Okay.
No comments at this time. Anybody else? Any comments, any non-agenda items? Joining us tonight, it's always exciting to have audience. Okay, unfinished business, moving right along, we have Jamie McCarthy, with us here tonight from the City Planning Office to present to us on the Community Sustainability Plan. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, Jamie, and take it away.
Take it away.
Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you.
The Rotary, welcome.
Yeah, I was actually at Rotary earlier this month presenting this exact thing, and, it's always a really exciting meeting, but it was well attended, so that's great. I'm gonna let you guys pass around, the action table, take a copy if you need one. I know many of you have looked at this online, and share a copy. There might not be quite one for everyone.
How many you got left, Wayne?
Just, I can skip over it.
I've seen it online.
Yeah, we can share. whatever.
Very good, very good. Pardon me, I'm kind of crazy
All
with
right.
the chair.
Chairs aren't good. They aren't good.
No, you're good. I've done it.
Yeah. And that should be, May. Is there a best spot for me to stand and streaming here? Should I maybe be on this end?
I think there is easier for the camera to see. If you're down here, you kind of disappear a little bit.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, can you put the,
Okay. I don't know how to get on this screen. Plugged in. Ah.
hey,
Ooh.
There we
Okay.
go.
I'm gonna do a poll. So today I just wanted to come back to you all. I know you've seen this plan and wanted to talk a bit about, where our department has been, talking to the community and getting input and kind of a path forward, what happens next and what we're requesting of the ECC to be able to bring this forward. Excellent. Okay, I'm still wanting to advertise to folks though. The place to find the plan online is imaginekalamazoo.com. If you, navigate through that, website to our projects, you'll find a sustainability page, and that's where you can view a copy online, download a copy, and then if you prefer a print copy, please stop by our office at Community Planning and Economic Development, and you can get a copy there as well. We're asking folks to leave their comments online at that same website, or again, you can drop off written comments to Dropbox here at City Hall.
what are those due?
Those are due May 23rd, okay, so Monday. If you got
Ooh.
some time, any last items, we're really asking folks to get those in.
Okay.
Did I say May, March, May?
I think
20th?
from there it wrote, it might have been March.
You said May, you said May.
You said May, though.
May. Thank you. Okay, so, we've been trying to get the word out about, this plan. We've definitely done a lot of, social media and other type advertisements, but we kicked this off in early April with an open house here in this room. It's probably our lowest attendance of all of the different, events that we went to. We had a virtual town hall on April 28th that had a lot better attendance and involvement. And at all of these events, we were asking folks to give us sort of similar input that we were asking on the website. And I'll talk a little bit about what we were asking folks for. We've done a number of community presentations, just a few that I've listed there, which are some of our bigger groups. We gave a presentation to the Kalamazoo Climate Crisis Coalition, which is a really important stakeholder group here in the city. We went to Rotary Club just a couple of weeks ago, which was really well attended. And then we had a great presentation at Friendship Village early on and had same kind of input forms for folks to fill out there as well. We've stopped by a number of boards or sent out communications to specific information, asking boards to weigh in or to share the information. And then also we've talked to different boards about the way they might interact with and have a piece of the implementation of this plan. And then again, the online feedback form, I think we've gotten close to 50 responses, and so I'd say that the feedback is kind of on par for the involvement that we've had from the community all along. It's certainly our closest, most informed stakeholders have been really involved and have a lot of really in-depth information to share and input to give us. It's been a little bit harder to engage the broader community, but I think that just shows all the more need for this kind of plan and a lot more work in neighborhoods and down to the block level, working on really specific. But again, May 23rd. So if you have additional comments, please spend some time getting those to us. Either online, give me a call, drop me an email. Any of those will work. All right, and so what we've been asking folks is really to focus in on these top 6 strategies that we've identified in the plan. If you recall, 3 of them there in the orange theme are all very energy related, whether it's renewable energy, energy efficiency, electrifying fleet. That's kind of the big crux of that chapter. And so we have 3 strategies that the city really wants, staff really wants to launch into probably over the next 2 years and work on setting up programs, helping us be set up for success to see the changes that we want to see, which we know will take 5, 10, and more years. But really, in the next 2 years, we think we can do a lot with setting up good programs, figuring out funding sources, leveraging other sources, and bringing those up. I think all 3 of those topics, we haven't finished kind of tabulating all of the input yet. We have till Monday, but it seems like, there's a lot of consensus around those 3, and that's a lot of priority. Community health was another one. That's sort of the 4th one down. That was also one that seems to get a lot of clicks online as a priority that people agree with. Encouraging density for sustainability, I feel like that one kind of gets split or doesn't get checked quite as much. And then back to the second one there, the circular economy, there's certainly a lot of interest in waste reduction, avoiding landfilling, bringing more composting to the city. That's maybe one that gets, from our feedback so far, I've seen that one probably, folks have typed in their preferences and different ideas that they've had the most. We also asked folks on the online feedback form to let us know how they feel about the high priority wait list. And overwhelmingly, folks have been checking all 4 and saying all 4 are really important. Flooding is certainly one that gets a lot of interest, but tree canopy is another. There have been some that have called out electrification of vehicles as well. So those are kind of, say, those top 2, trees and flooding, have been getting a lot of attention. All right, so what's next kind of in this short term? Submit comments by next Monday, and then staff's gonna take those and do our final kind of tabulation, see if there's things that need to be changed. Certainly at the beginning, we had some really good, very specific feedback about, very specific parts of the plan and some impressions, and so I think there's gonna be some tweaks here and there. But we're going to take that information, create a final plan, and get a staff report ready for the June 6th City Commission and ask City Commission to adopt this plan. Some of that early feedback that we received and some of the conversations that we had with members of this board was about how this rolls out and how this gets implemented at the city. And, the plan is very vision forming or vision casting and not as much into the really granular detail of the exact staff who do things. You can see in the implementation table there is a lead department. That was one piece of feedback we got from all of our department directors, that we're going to be specific about who takes these or they're going to get dropped. And even down to there's divisions within departments, because directors thought that was important too. Like, we need to know that, hey, this division over here, this one's going to be yours. Or it was going to be shared between divisions. So you'll see that, but we don't have anything in the plan that talks specifically about who might head or oversee the whole plan, in part because the plan is meant to be very integrated into all that we do. If it gets siloed off into just one sole department, we know a lot of this work can't happen. But some of the feedback we've heard certainly suggests that we need at least a driving force that's working across all of those departments to bring us together, but also to interact with the public, and be doing that regular reporting and being able to, come to the community and really talk about, measure, and understand the progress we're making or not making and how we're gonna adjust our priorities. And so, with that city commission report, we're gonna put forth to, commission staff recommendation, which is to, hire a dedicated position to be able to do that, especially to get us started here and kind of form out the program and see what it looks like at the city. There was some talk about when that person gets started, because right now we're in budget, planning season, and we're getting our request in here in June, but that's gonna be for 2023 budget. And so, at least, the management folks in my department have agreed they wanna put that in for a mid-year budget change, so that we can get someone onboarded before we're waiting until a new budget in the next year. So that's gonna be part of our staff report, calling that out and highlighting that that's one of the first things the commission can do to support this plan. And then, I think we'll talk a little bit about, I don't know if this will get amended into the plan, it'll definitely be covered in the agenda report, but there's been some questions about, how does the public stay involved? How does the city continue to be, transparent and interact with the community on this topic, since it's new and different at the city? And so that's where, we're gonna talk a little bit about how we envision that happening, and that's one of the requests I have from this board today, is that you can stay engaged and be a public outlet and a public platform for annual reporting and, presenting information to the public every year. But also, I think, staying involved in the way that this group had, and giving us sort of us, the staff, a committee to interact with and help us vet and understand what the priorities need to be as we're making a work plan every single year and, trying to make progress on the plan. And then, hoping for after June adoption that we're ready for implementation. We have a couple of interns coming on this summer, and then hopefully with that staff support that will be, hoping supported and brought on later this year, we'll be in a really good position to get. So, the support we're looking for from ECC today and through June in particular would be, a letter of support that I saw drafted in your agenda packet, and, especially reinforcing those most important factors, and I think the letter is doing a good job of that, but, just reminding, I think, commission and the public about, those key things that need to be in place to make this successful. And then, if possible, if someone could, from this, committee, come forward and co-present with staff, or at least kind of present that letter and make sure it gets the attention that it needs at that meeting on June 6th. I don't know exactly, I think we're still working on what gets presented at committee of the whole, and then maybe shorter at the business meeting, or vice versa. So
Okay.
I will have that information, but hopefully you can have someone, there to speak to it. And then,
Put in a vote, committee of the whole would probably be better, so moving in this plan affects.
yeah.
The committee of the whole doesn't have deliberation and no vote,
Mm-mm.
right? So it's really simply a presentation from you to us, and that's at from 5 to 6:30.
Thank you.
And so, if we want to vote on it,
Yeah, we'd have to bring it forward at the business meeting.
Yeah.
Certainly. I think that I'm still getting.
is it ready to be on the agenda on the 6th?
Mm-hmm.
Put it on?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna, be checking in with, management about, city manager's office about if they want like a full longer, station at the cow meeting, which I think would be really useful.
I think that's on the agenda.
And then
so.
something, perfect,
Yeah,
something, we can condense it for business meeting and.
cool, thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
And then that last one, which I think is a really big and important one, but serving as this public forum for annual progress reporting and prioritizing year after year. So that's what I have for you today. Short and sweet, but sort of the next steps to bring us forward and get this plan. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thanks so much for, working on this for so long. Jamie, you and all the staff there in the planning department.
on somebody to be kind of like coordinator. Is there specifics in the staff request for separate from whatever we recommend here? For what level that staffing position?
I'll have to check what our department is putting in. Right now, it would be housed in community planning and economic development, so it would be like coordinator level position, I'm imagining. It wouldn't be its own department at this point, the way that it's being brought forward right now.
Sure. Right, thank you so much, Jamie. We do have I've got a draft recommendation here.
Yep.
That I have,
I mean, if you bring it up.
yeah, if you could bring that up, that would be great. And, sent it out last night. Hopefully everybody's had, time to take a look at it. If everybody is good with it, I can read through the whole thing aloud, and then we can back up, and if you've got, you know, we can kind of hash it out here. Okay? All right, so in September of 2019, the Kalamazoo City Commission unanimously declared that a climate emergency threatens our citizens, city, region, state, and the natural world. The declaration was rooted in the scientific consensus that we have a limited amount of time and remaining carbon emissions to consume before permanently losing the ability to offset the worst-case scenario of over 1.5 degrees of global warming by the end of the century. Efforts to date are built on the assumption that a level of warming is effectively locked in, and that every effort must be made to mitigate against further damage and adapt to the change we are already seeing. As noted in the Climate Emergency Declaration, we are increasingly experiencing the predicted impacts of climate change, including flooding of streets and homes, power outages, and heat waves. Farmers cannot plant or delay planting due to flooded fields. Record low temperatures with snow and ice close schools and businesses. Moreover, these economic and environmental hardships disproportionately affect the most vulnerable citizens of Kalamazoo. In September of 2018, the Kalamazoo City Commission unanimously adopted a resolution declaring a climate crisis. This resolution urged city staff to develop a climate action plan that sets aggressive, measurable goals and effective implementation. The climate emergency resolution also states the city of Kalamazoo will take a role of regional leadership. These guiding principles are a natural extension of the Imagine Kalamazoo 2025 Master Plan, which called for the development of a City of Kalamazoo Climate Action Plan. Prior to the city developing a plan, city planner Rebecca Kick had partnered with WMU professor Paul Clements, requesting that his graduate students develop a climate action plan specific to Kalamazoo that would provide a framework and priorities for a future city plan. A tremendous amount of time, effort, and expertise has been expended in developing the Community Sustainability Plan, or CSP, before the City Commission. The city has undertaken a robust planning effort over the past decade to prepare the document before you today, including efforts in the Imagine Kalamazoo 2025 Master Plan, pre-planning initiatives such as the City of Kalamazoo Climate Action Plan prepared by Western Michigan University, and significant community outreach initiatives to educate and learn from residents. During the development of the Community Sustainability Plan, the Environmental Concerns Committee received regular updates from the City Planning Department, primarily from the plan's lead developer, Sustainable Development Coordinator Jamie McCarthy. Several ECC members also served on small committees, along with other community stakeholders, to review early drafts of the plan. This gave the ECC opportunity to provide feedback on priorities for short, medium, and long-term implementation. A tremendous amount of time, effort, and expertise has been expended in developing the Community Sustainability Plan now before the City Commission. Consistent with recommendations the ECC has provided to the City Commission over the last few years, we have the following recommendations to improve the effectiveness of the CSP, aligning it with the scientific consensus and need for immediate, effective action. Primarily, our recommendations can be understood as the provision of coordinated leadership to ensure the plan is implemented most effectively, opportunities for public engagement and feedback, the establishment of a robust data collection system, the willingness to serve as a regional leader in this multifaceted challenge, and the bold leadership that seeks to not only meet, but beat the targets contained within the CSP as the benefits multiply and risks minimize with early action. Here is our recommendation. The ECC, and I've, if we can all vote on it, unanimously would be ideal. The ECC unanimously recommends that the Kalamazoo City Commission approve the Community Sustainability Plan with special attention to the following provisions as keys to effective implementation. 1, staffing. The ECC recommends that city staff hire a dedicated director-level staff member to begin implementation of the CSP as soon as possible, including reallocation of fiscal year 2022 funding to immediately begin the hiring process. 2, reporting. The ECC has appreciated the frequent updates from city staff and requests continued reporting on CSP implementation with more formalized feedback mechanisms and opportunities for refinement and specificity to be developed and identified as the plan proceeds. 3, data collection. The ECC recommends that city staff make use of the ICLEI data collection system, which has already been purchased. This will enable city staff and residents to develop a community-wide, public and private emissions inventory necessary to track our progress toward the CSP goal of net zero emissions by 2050. 4, regional leadership and coordination. The ECC recommends that the City of Kalamazoo honor the City Commission's climate emergency declaration by seeking to be a regional leader in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This includes facilitating coordination between local units of government, public utilities, private enterprise, and residents. Number 5, bold leadership. Finally, the ECC recommends that the city endeavor every opportunity to beat the stated goal in the CSP of net zero emissions by 2050. This will reap the largest benefits to our local ecology, quality of life, and economy by reducing the devastating impacts of record heat and cold days, increased storm intensity and unpredictability, and loss of biodiversity and human life. We urge the City Commission to weigh not only the negative impacts of inaction, but the brilliant future possible with robust action on the climate crisis. There is a positive vision of a climate resilient, accessible, verdant, and thriving city of Kalamazoo possible within the pages of the Community Sustainability Plan. A better future is possible for Kalamazoo families, businesses, and wildlife. We simply need to act as if our house is on fire, because it is.
I only have one thing that I heard that probably suggests the position, did you say coordinator? Is it going to be coordinator level? Is that what you said?
That's what the budget reflects.
Yeah, then you might want to say that as far as coordinator level instead of director level, because not that linguistics might do anything, but if they're seeing director level departments and all that, that's just saying that could be the only thing. But that's the only thing that I.
I like that in there as is.
No, I'm just.
Yeah, so it's not just a semantics issue. Coordinator is one, and then director is higher. So, our thinking, Karen and I wrote the initial draft of this, was that there needs to be a higher level coordination to coordinate all the elements within the city. Whereas a coordinator would be housed just in community planning, which is great, which is probably where the lion's share of this is going to come from. But there's a lot of stuff that's outside of planning and economic development. And then the other side of it that I think we should really push for a high level position is based on challenges the city is facing, parallel and similar in some ways, equity, diversity, and inclusion initiatives with recent resignation of Dora LeBonner, worked at the city for a long time. And so the implementation of those kinds of initiatives are similar in some ways on the softer side of things. A lot of pushback, which led to a resignation. So I feel like that only strengthens for a higher level with more authority, reporting directly to the city manager. That was our thinking.
That's a good answer.
Just adding a little bit to that, yeah, I think, that would make them actually be able to do things and have way less, pushback, I guess, like you said, pretty much, but, to be able to actually, have action happen and in a timely fashion, because coordinator will have to have so many more hoops to jump.
Comments on that?
I have a scientific, clarity.
Mhm.
If you say 1.5 degrees, you have to specify which units of
Yes,
measurement.
that's
we're
correct,
using.
yes.
So those are Celsius degrees, which is a bigger jump of temperature than 1.5
Yeah.
Fahrenheit degrees.
2.2 or something, maybe?
Yeah, so that should be made clear.
One more small
Good
clerical thing, I saw you had September 2018 and 2019 on there.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I think we could probably polish the narrative portion a little bit more.
I think so too. I think it's 2019,
Yeah.
not
I like that.
2018.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna highlight my copy here, and then, so this should be 2018.
As you're reading it, there's a few redundancies from 19.
Oh, sorry, 19, yeah. sorry. I
Nine,
need
he
to
said
change
eight.
color.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm typing.
Right.
Oh, you're typing, somebody's typing. The numbers are moving.
Try.
So are you gonna make the edits while we go through here? I
We
can make the
can.
edits. I can make the edits as we go through it,
Okay.
if you want, and then I can send it along. Yeah.
You might want to change Rebecca Kick's title as well. She's not city planner, she's the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development.
Would it
Was she
be,
city planner at the time? I think she was.
She's, it's been a few years.
Director of what?
Community Planning and Economic Development, CPED.
Community planning
She's the director level.
I'm gonna highlight changes that I'm making, September of 2019, and then can I just simply put a capital C in there to indicate Celsius, 1.5 C, right? Or should I just write the word Celsius?
Just one more word in that one.
Right.
Right on.
September of 2018, September of it was 19, that's right,
Mhm.
September 2019. I need to strike the, down a few paragraphs where, tremendous amount of time, effort, and planning. I'm just gonna strike that, both of those lines. Tremendous amount of time, effort, and expertise has been expended, that's redundant.
We could maybe leave that one and remove the earlier one, because that one's kind of like the conclusion process. So I like the one that we're looking at on the TV, and then maybe remove the one before that.
The city has undertaken a robust planning effort.
I mean, the other copy of a tremendous effort.
Melissa, fix the word
I
commission.
think there's, it's so hard to,
Where does it say?
The
Two S's, I think.
isn't there two instances?
Very confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking.
Tremendous amount of time, effort, and expertise. Oh, okay.
So we could probably just scratch this one
Okay.
and leave it where it is, so it's
Yeah.
kind of, it's kind of a nice
Okay.
conclusion.
It's impacted as
Yeah.
standalone, stanza there.
Okay. Yeah,
would,
okay.
would it be inappropriate to ask Jamie, for her perspective on the staff position as far as the director level, or leadership level, or coordinator level? Can we do that? Is that appropriate?
Like any input. Less than, no.
Yeah, no, Jamie, did you want to, add some input? You mentioned that in the packet that you'll be presenting, the staff presentation, that you're recommending a coordinator level position, which is different than a director level position. I guess I would just point out that, we start a recommendation with, we recommend the Kalamazoo City Commission approve the community sustainability plan.
Right, I
as being
read, I can read
presented.
that, yeah.
And then in our, in these 5 pieces, we're also saying, yes, let's approve what we've got, this is a great plan. Also, we're also recommending, let's continue to push forward with that. So, Jamie, what do you think, as far as the staffing piece?
Recommendation and you guys have had, so of leadership and work you want to see right away. seems like something we were really, and our budget requests are due on Monday, and I got a sense of this kind of, leadership level saying, yes, we're and so, you know, a letter like this may have influence.
And would it be unusual for, because I'm kind of thinking about the structure of the ask, because the ask is coming out of CPED, right? So it would be kind of, it might seem weird for you guys to feel like you should create a different department head, basically.
Come from a different, yeah,
Right.
like our CFO or, you know, services or,
Yeah, okay.
right?
Okay, yeah, I was just, you know, I mean, I've heard the perspective of the people who wrote this, but I wanted Jamie's perspective as well, you know, or whether it needs to be more general, like a leadership position. You know, I'm just politically wondering what is the most likely, thing to be favored moving forward.
I think it's a good concern.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted, you know, I understand your input, but I wanted Jamie's input too.
I like the document, I think it's.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other thoughts?
There's some grammatical issues.
Yeah.
Would it be helpful to follow up and just make some suggestions rather than say you should have a serial comma here, or a hyphen, stuff like that?
No, I would rather just get this done now, and when we leave this meeting, I can send it off.
Okay. I believe in the second paragraph, sustainable development coordinator, there shouldn't be a comma before Jamie's name.
Okay.
The paragraph afterwards, you have short, medium, and long-term. They all should have hyphens. Short hyphen, medium hyphen, and long-term.
Click on that, it'll give you the right thing.
Because we're saying
There
implying
you go.
short-term, medium-term,
there.
and long-term.
Right,
It's
right.
Correct.
Oh,
That's
okay.
correct.
Right.
Commission under recommendation.
Paragraph above that, Melissa, where remove the comma from Jamie.
Yeah.
Long.
They're both editing.
Sorry. We can check our versions against each other.
Could we?
Thanks. What was the next?
If you turn review on, you can check where you're making all of the edits. So,
What?
The review.
track changes.
I'm gonna
It's a lot easier.
break the document if I start clicking buttons, because she's in Word and I'm in Google Docs.
Oh,
Right,
So-
right.
She can at least do that.
Okay. What did you say next, Joe?
Recommendation, city commission should have another S.
Oh, yeah, I misspelled
Should
commission.
fix that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
While we're looking at grammar, did anybody else have any thoughts on their recommendations?
Mm-hmm.
There was another one in here, but I don't see it now. I'll look.
The direct pull from the,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Farmers cannot plant, oh, it should be apostrophe S?
No,
No.
oh, yeah,
Or- no
I
apostrophe.
was
Or must
thinking, like,
delay
farmers
planting.
cannot
Plural.
plant or delay, but sometimes they cannot delay.
Right, that's a
It
really
was weird.
weird,
Yeah.
inappropriate sentence.
Or must
Oh.
delay planting?
That's a direct quote from the
Yeah.
Oh.
declaration.
Yeah, so if you're quoting, then just leave it.
Oh, okay. I can put must in parentheses, though, can I?
Okay.
Doesn't
Brackets.
that- Yeah.
Bracket,
Brackets, okay.
Yeah, put brackets,
Okay.
yeah.
right, that at least it would read correctly, even though it is
Yeah.
a direct quote.
Must, see what the hell it is. Okay.
In the first sentence, at the very beginning, you have two periods. It should go inside the quote marks, one.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, you're right.
I see that.
I have a question as your, as
Okay.
a city commissioner. I was wondering in there, so we mentioned the ICLEI data set.
Mhm.
Is everybody gonna know what that means probably, at least the people voting on it?
I'm gonna guess no.
Okay.
So we should
So
spell
go ahead
that
and spell
out.
that out.
Okay, good point. Good
Yeah.
point.
Thank you. That's a
gave
good
us-
point.
yep.
I'm just going right to the Google doc. I mean, I
That's
only
bad.
look.
Mhm.
sitting with you
Right,
guys.
yeah,
Yep.
same, basically.
I just gotta find where it is. I think the more information you give to commission,
Mhm.
the more, yeah.
ICLEI, which is International, can somebody look that up for me? International,
And type this, the acronym.
Or, I'm sorry, Erin.
yeah.
On the
Kalamazoo
Google?
Climate Action.
Thank you.
Something,
Just
and
gonna
it
pull
says
that up.
version 2, version 2, draft community.
Thank you.
The problem is they don't even really, international non-com. See, it doesn't even really give you,
Yeah.
that sounds right. International, where was I? International Council. Local environment. Yeah. EI, right. ECC recommends that city staff make use of the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives.
I've got it.
Okay, anything else that anybody,
Again, changing Rebecca, she's been director of CPD since 2016.
okay. In the Kalamazoo Climate Action Plan,
In
That
this
was-
letter.
that was presented, that was,
Oh.
that was, Dr. Clemence's, plan,
Was
she's
it-
listed as
City plan.
city planner, because I think at the time that was started,
Okay.
it was.
Is that a LinkedIn page?
Sorry?
Is that her LinkedIn page?
No, I just, she is the director of CPAC.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You could say then city planner,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
Oh.
yeah, then city planner Rebecca Kick,
Okay, I can do that. Or
that, yeah,
Mhm.
or that.
This has got to be made for riveting television.
Oh,
City.
That's where the magic happens, folks.
Yeah. Then city planner.
This is honestly the best part of the city is the volunteers showing up and
Yeah.
doing the work
Yeah.
of the people. Thank you.
What, anything else?
Yes. I think James.
Where?
I had it in there.
It's already in
Did I
there,
miss
though.
it?
Yeah.
It's right
The
there.
plan's lead developer, sustainable
Never mind.
development coordinator, Jamie McCarthy.
Yeah, we took the comma out of there.
Yeah.
I'm big about credit.
Yeah. What else? Anybody have any other grammatical errors before we talk about any of the meat of?
I hate to say it, but there should be a comma in the second to the last sentence, after business,
At the very end,
the second to the last sentence,
businesses
yeah. I mean, you have them throughout.
and wildlife.
Well, it depends on
I
which
don't think they teach that
grammatical.
anymore.
Well, we followed the other.
Oh,
okay.
We're following
Okay.
Oxford, so we go
Right.
one
Yeah.
way or the other.
Great.
Right, okay, get it, I got it.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's lame, I know.
It is lame, okay.
No,
Do.
It's hard work, this
You're
grammar
lucky
stuff
I
is
didn't
hard
use a
work.
typewriter to
Ah.
create this thing.
You plug it in.
Anybody else? Okay, as far as the actual recommendations, let me repeat it. The ECC unanimously recommends that the Kalamazoo City Commission approve the Community Sustainability Plan with special attention to the following provisions as keys to effective implementation. We've got all those, specific chunks. Any feedback there?
I think it's good.
I think it's fine.
Make sure we're highlighting transparency, accountability, and follow-through. And it's, but when it's, wording for those again.
So reporting, the ECC has appreciated frequent updates from city staff and requests continued reporting on CSP implementation with more formalized feedback mechanisms and opportunities for refinement and specificity to be developed and identified as the plan proceeds.
I guess that's kind of the staffing
Mhm.
data. The regional one's kind of fuzzy, but the whole concept of regional leadership's kind of fuzzy, so that's just probably
I don't,
good
yeah,
the way it is.
I mean, there's not necessarily, you know, I don't know that there is a precedent for,
Right.
for that. So that's something that I think that if we did have a staff member that could come here and chat with us, that we could, you know, about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because as we talked about so many times over the last year, all these units of government within the, county of Kalamazoo, many of them have their own climate emergency declarations, but haven't necessarily implemented anything to you know, follow through on doing something about
Right.
that. You know, they're smaller units of government. They don't have as much money. They don't have as much staffing. And as the largest unit of government within, you know,
County.
within the county, we have more, you know, the city has more, greater ability to play that leadership and facilitator and coordinator role, not only with local units of government, but with, you know, reaching out and having proactive, positive, relationships with, you know, with consumers' power, with large employers, you know, big power users, with every group that is, available to talk to about, collecting data and figuring out how we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And if we're reducing, you know, emissions, reducing power use, ideally, it would also mean that we are reducing power bills for businesses and residents. So.
I can tinker with this all day, but
Yeah, do we have any, feel like we've come to an end here?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, is there,
motion to approve the recommendation.
all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that is a unanimous vote of all present members. I'm gonna go ahead and unhighlight, unanimous. All right, outstanding, I will, okay.
Last mile of the marathon to go.
Yeah, great. I will, make sure that this gets sent, over to Melissa. And I think all you need is just this one document. You shouldn't really need anything else.
Yeah.
And you can make sure that it gets sent on to, city staff. I am more than happy, Jamie, to attend the city commission meeting on January 6th, or June 6th, that's, whether that's the committee of the whole meeting or the regular business meeting or both. I'm not sure.
I'll be there.
Okay, yeah, let me know.
And I was just gonna mention to, Melissa and, to your right, I don't know the best way to move it forward, but just to make sure it's noted that it is for June 6th. Once it's all finalized and signed off, I can put it in the packet, move it on, a couple weeks before the meeting, just let me know how I can help or how you plan to route it.
You're gonna submit the actual plan too for the packet, right?
I will, yeah. I typically put a link, so it's not
Oh, perfect.
adding 200 pages.
Everybody freaked out over the 1,000-page packet from last Monday.
Yeah, I will work with,
1,000?
1,079 pages.
Oh, yeah.
199.
Wow.
It was 1,500 pages about the whole water plan.
Yeah, I'll be at the meeting.
People felt
Yeah.
like great. So I just
Don't
have
do the whole thing,
to
or
on it.
just make a, I'll do a
Go to the
citizen
next
comment
thing.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Either way.
Sure, I'll,
I'd like to attend just to support.
yeah,
Awesome.
Indeed.
yeah, it was freaky.
Wow.
I'll be on Peregrine Patrol.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Tyler will play.
We do.
And you can call in for those meetings too.
I do think that, at commission meetings, when there is a healthy show of human bodies, it really means a lot. You know, news stations are there, Public Media Network is live, Facebook Live. So it really shows that there's a tremendous amount of interest and care by the community. So I would say, I mean, I was at that meeting where I was in the audience when the commission voted it in, and it was just great energy. So, you know, while I don't think there's any protest to go on about it, but just support.
Yeah.
I just think the more people that can be present would be really great.
All right, Jamie, thanks again for,
Yeah.
all your hard work over the last few years, and together, so. All right, moving on, next agenda item. Do we have any updates on Kalamazoo River, Marl Lake Dam cleanup?
I'm not sure he's going to be voting on it.
Okay.
But that's for the presentation.
That's okay.
In the evening meeting, not the working day.
You vote on it during.
I try to shoot you articles whenever I see something.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything recently.
That one's been quiet for a while.
To make sure it's on there. Because I wasn't, like,
Search, like, kind of see what I missed, if anything on their website, and stuff, and I haven't seen anything.
great.
Which I'll, yeah.
I kind of,
I'd
they
rather
post that on the River Alliance.
So I don't know what the plan is.
Yeah, I haven't heard, anything from Senator McCann's office about, the legislation they're trying to get through committee. I don't know if it's out of committee. I don't know if it's gotten on the floor for a vote, and then how it might do in the House in terms of, some kind of increased enforcement mechanism, from Eagle to, you know, force the private company that caused the problem in the first place to pay for, you know, greater levels of cleanup.
Hopefully we have a shot with a bunch of libertarians and Kalamazoo River Alliance in support of
See. Okay, new business. We do have one resignation,
Oh, yeah.
so this will be your last meeting.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm so sorry, it was kind of, an opportunity. And I'm leaving to go back to school, all very far away from here, so.
Sounds like very cool. You know, keep us updated on, you know, what you're doing with it.
Yeah, it's a climate change agriculture. So, yeah, doing the good work.
Cool stuff.
Cool. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thanks for-
congratulations.
Wow.
I really love my time. Learned a lot.
And Wayne, you will be with us again next month, and then that will be the last meeting for you? Okay. If you could, I already forwarded you her email resignation. If you could send me an email, stating, that you are resigning and when, because we'll need that official email to the clerk, so they can update the membership list online. And that will leave us with, 3 open positions.
Okay.
We have not received any,
Yeah,
applications in,
KCCC, somebody there would want to serve.
say that again?
KCCC,
Yeah, that's a great idea. So anybody that you know, let's start, you know, communicating and encouraging people to,
I don't think
To apply.
Justice works. He doesn't live in Kalamazoo, he was the mayor of Portage, so I don't think, but he would, like, he and his staff at Western Sustainability might also be, have possibilities.
I
And
know
then,
some folks.
there is a guy who lives in the city, Rob Townsend, I don't know if anybody knows Rob, but he began the recycling program at K.
Okay.
And he's retired from K, but he's amazing.
Okay.
Ask him.
It's on the back of the view from the curb still, right, as well?
I think it will, well, we missed the second quarter, so if, I put in the request.
Okay.
I missed the second.
Thank you.
And
Is there an application form readily, easily visible on the City of Kalamazoo's website?
should be on the
Online,
city's
yeah.
website,
Okay.
but I have been informed there might be some difficulties in filling that out. One of our guests tonight has tried to do so.
Oh, really?
That's good.
I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get a hold of the clerk's office and
Okay.
get that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like a technical glitch where I just don't have the right version of something to make it
Oh.
load.
Okay.
Right.
Because it would give you that populated error of, oh, you can't view this, so I'm not sure
Oh,
if
okay.
maybe like I'm just using the wrong browser or something potentially.
Okay.
But I can try again when I get home tonight.
Mhm.
We can certainly.
actually have to move on initially as well, the same kind of thing, and I think I did use it. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I'll try that when I get home then.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, our emails are on, one of our emails is on the portal, isn't it? If it doesn't work, we'd love to like have you reach out.
I gave my information to Alyssa, and she said she's gonna reach out to the city clerk and
Report it, yeah.
the worst, she'll give me a full form or I can just drop it off after.
Yep.
You might need to physically give it to someone, so.
There are paper forms available in the
Oh,
clerk
recently?
Oh,
if you don't
Okay.
have access.
Maybe it's
or-
been processed yet or something.
Because they're looking for the confirmation email.
So they must have just.
okay.
Okay.
I think it was,
Oh, really?
yeah.
You haven't received any applications from the city clerk's office. That's how it would go.
No.
There might be something worth following up on if it's not coming through.
Yeah.
That's two.
Yeah.
They're looking for their.
Do you want to, can you share the name with her so that she can ask the
Should I
clerk
have them
specifically?
forward it to you? Your email?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What about Chris,
Yeah.
Chris from the Bike Farm?
I don't think,
You would be, the Bike Farm.
I believe my email is available on the city's
Yeah,
CC.
it was,
Your work
yeah.
email,
You
yeah.
can directly email my work email. I'll
your
make sure.
Kalamazoo City email, right?
Yes, please.
No, it's not. Do I click on your name and see? That's weird. Nope, you're not on it, just your bio and your picture.
Anybody
We're-
talking to anybody in the
That's
community?
weird.
Expertise is valuable, but also
It's probably
representation.
somewhere else, but that's all I see.
Of course, there's a couple neighborhoods that
Click on
usually
there.
are represented here, that'd be good to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I do?
Oh, just saying, so,
Oh,
at least right now, I know.
Or do I apply now then?
Really, I guess I'm technically Winchell, Edison, I don't think, unless I'm wrong.
Edison.
But there's
Anybody on the east side?
I don't think anybody here lives on
I don't have a
the
list
east
in my
side.
head, but just, you know, it's kind of usual suspects.
Huh.
Either way, I will get them to you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much.
I think I applied twice, so
All right,
undo me.
You're in.
It's not seeming to work.
Full staff email for ISP, I know it's mostly like social work. We have like 400 people on the email, and mostly people who know.
Yeah, as long as they know they have to be in the city boundaries, it's
Right.
Mhm.
a little thing, that's no problem.
Yeah, I'm getting messages about my.
Thank you.
And I'll be done, on the ECC in December. My term will be up in December, so we'll need to.
Is that your second up through?
Chair, that'd be my second,
Oh,
yeah,
so you're,
I will be.
you're mandated
done
off
though.
for a while.
Yeah,
Take a
yeah,
break.
I'll take a break for 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Is
start
it
thinking of,
mandated 3 years or 1 year, I thought?
That was 1 year.
what's that?
I thought,
I think the
remembered it
rules say
being
3
1
years.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I've heard 1 before.
We can check in the bylaws are in the drive.
Maybe proposition, maybe in June, depending on how many applications we have, since we've moved the CSP off of our to-do list, there's like a lot of logistical issues that we address, like applications, like what are the rules and all that stuff. Like a agenda item just to talk about
Yeah.
those kinds of things. So,
Sure. Sure, yeah, come with some ideas and we can
Yeah,
chat about it.
all right, cool.
Okay. All right, moving on to subcommittee reports. Bobby, anything new with the NFP?
NFP has been busy with, plans for the, redevelopment and expansion of the Kalamazoo Country Club area. The last set of plans that we looked at, I forget how the motion actually went. Rather than voting yea or nay on something, the consensus was for the applicant to kind of withdraw it for revision based on common, discussed ideas of less tree impact and some things, and they being the applicant and their, engineers and such are very willing to do that from what we see. So they're redrawing those plans, and it is on the next month's agenda item to take a look at those revised plans. So that has been, quite a big project ongoing.
So would the changes there be like on the edges of that property?
Well-
Or is the NFP gonna cover the, inside of the course?
No, it's expanding.
Right, no, I understand that.
Expanding into, what is the name of that lake that's right there?
White Lake.
Yeah, there's some sensitive areas around there.
Okay.
Obviously, well, not obviously, there is the demolition of the former lakeside
Mhm.
facilities, and then the construction of new clubhouse and country club activities, or buildings, such that at some point in time, they're gonna demo their current buildings, and those will probably revert back to some sort of green space.
Mhm.
Now, that may be manicured golf course-related green
Right.
space, but nonetheless. So there's just been a nice amount of dialogue back and forth where the NFP folks, especially the tree folks that know a lot more about that than I do, have given them some great suggestions on things they should consider, and they're showing that they're willing to do that.
Okay.
Other things going on with NFP, we talked last time, not just cases, but we looked at the whole process of the overlay and how we can best fast-track some things. So we're looking at some language and some policies internally where if some small variances, types of things come through, but maybe it's a residential property, but it does fall into NFP overlay, can we allow city staff to make those decisions so it doesn't have to come before the board? So we're looking at cases like that where we can allow things to move efficiently through. So, yeah.
Is that due to like, you're getting too much volume to deal with?
No, not a lot of volume, but rather than having to go through the city planner and the permitting type things, and then a red flag comes up, so to speak, saying, well, that's NFP. So does it always have to go to the NFP board if it's a really simple something that somebody knowledgeable of NFP that's already on city staff can rule on? Am I right on that, Jamie?
Yeah, like we were talking about, antenna stations on water towers, they don't end up in like any ground surface, right? On water
Yeah.
tower, but it's an NFT. So, that way, NFT can delegate to.
Right.
Definitely is on attend all site plan review meetings and make sure.
Yeah.
These are really simple ones.
Right.
Is that gonna be
Right for review.
specified? What did you say?
That just sounds right for abuse to me. I mean.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
know,
my
that
board, but-
scares
Oh,
me
no,
a
we
lot.
will define what kinds of considerations are able to do that and which ones are not.
Will that go through any specific process? Because it was a very long process in getting the wording exactly how it is for everything going through the review board. And
Yeah.
I definitely see opportunity for that being abused.
More to come, I guess.
We'll take that up. I didn't see it that way. I just really saw it as a way to, things that, as they come before the various permitting agencies or planning, if it really doesn't, if it's determined that it really doesn't require NFP board to meet on it because it's something so simple, as in the case that Ms. McCarthy just presented, that we wouldn't have to deliberate on it.
So who
Every
would
time.
be deciding then, though?
Well, NFP board is deciding what
What's acceptable?
kinds of things we are going to allow city staff to make a ruling on our behalf. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And those would have to be put forth into the rules.
And you would probably retain, capacity to overrule the staff decision.
Yeah?
Giving up power.
Well, we didn't see it as giving up power. We see it as
Expedited, probably.
yeah, on things that were quite obvious.
I see both sides.
Understood.
Air and water quality, we have not met in
No.
quite some time. We should probably get back together here pretty soon.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on, the air quality, report from Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. They're doing in conjunction with EPA. It was supposed to be in the fall, and then it was supposed to be in the winter, and then it was supposed to be in the spring. Last I heard, maybe June.
You're just gonna have to put your spiel in your agenda.
Right.
We're still waiting on the state. Michigan to do
Yeah.
the law.
Yeah, but I would assume that they would rather, get it right than get it quickly. So, but,
Now regarding air, and this may come up later, but, last month I attended the Michigan Environmental Compliance Conference that Eagle hosts every year throughout the state. And interestingly, a representative of Eagle's Air Quality Division, Monica Brothers, gave a presentation there specifically on the case of Graphic Packaging site. And as well as the Kalamazoo wastewater reclamation site. And it was presented as a success story in that the way state and local government and regulators and businesses and such got together. The whole part of the crux of the presentation was the implementation of the array of those sensors, odor monitors, and the data that is being generated from that, and how that was and continues to be used to track the source of emissions, so that engineering controls can be implemented to address those. So that was interesting, because people from all over the state come to that, and they got to hear a story of something that has been a public concern in Kalamazoo, and how the state's working on it. And so, yeah, it brought some attention to the positive things about it, not so much of the odor problem itself. Yeah.
Gail, anything on wildlife and natural resources?
No, no news. The urban bird treaty is still kind of in limbo. Jamie just slipped out, but I'm, waiting for, some movement from both the city of Kalamazoo and the city of Portage, the two major municipalities. The Fish and Wildlife Service has changed their application process a bit. I need to sit down and read through everything and absorb it all, but it's a bit more onerous than it used to be. I really, my goal was the end of March. I really wanted to have it in, which of course didn't happen. So I'm going to have to jump some more hoops in order to get that all pulled together. And I just, like I said, I need to sit down and read through this document.
Didn't Jamie say that after the plan was adopted,
Yes.
she would have more time?
Hopefully in June.
Yeah.
She will have more time, and I'm here in June from Portage as well. So
Yeah.
I just have to be patient and work on all the other parts of it that I can, waiting for those two municipalities.
I tell you what, Gail, I've been thinking about your presentation all the time, and every time I see, in our, neighborhood group, I've been thinking outdoor cat, I'm like, oh no, the birds, and, that stuck with me, for sure.
Well, thanks. Yeah, Sharon's got to get up the trap, neuter, and rehome, trap, neuter, and rescue, plan that she's got going in the back of her head. No more trap, neuter, and release. Bad. Yeah.
There's just so many out there. I know multiple neighborhoods with, street cat problems.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
If anyone wants to adopt a cat, I know plenty of
We have homeless cats too.
Yeah.
Those poor cats on the street, they would just love to be sleeping on your guest bed. Trust me, they would much rather be doing that. What?
But yeah.
Good, I won't make any public comment about cats.
You're just weird with animals. That's all I.
No, I love animals. I'm allergic to cats. People out there are weird with animals.
I got a thing about.
I love animals, babies, animals. I love all that stuff.
Okay, let's just move on. Yeah, waste management.
So to sum up, not weird with animals. Okay. Moving along, waste management and litter. Sharon, how was the last,
Great.
recycling?
Yeah, great, the city's taking it over officially. I've sent them a document of, we still have to send them a list of volunteers if anyone wants to be added onto the request of volunteering. You wouldn't be needed every time, but, they'll be emailing that out now. And yeah, the next one's July 23rd.
So are they gonna keep it on a quarterly schedule?
Yeah, so far, that's the plan. The next two are in the view from the curb.
Okay.
Including July 23rd is the next one.
Wait, that was just an annual thing?
They, weren't sure yet, and they did say that they are going to, at least for the next few, do that as well, side by side. So thank you, I forgot about that. They said they'd do that for at least the ones that are in the view from the curb, and we'll see how it goes, and hopefully that,
So what do they take with the electronic waste
all
pickup?
sorts of things, and that is listed
Like
out. Mhm.
Whole,
There are a couple items that cost money, but everything else is free.
Okay.
So like cords, monitors, they do, I don't remember offhand which ones you have to pay for, but it's
Okay.
listed on the view from the
Yeah,
curb.
there's a
Okay.
list.
And yeah, I think that is,
so if city is taking that over, does that mean there will be, city staff
They
there
have,
every?
they did determine
Parks
a
and Rec,
city staff person, it was Wendy actually, but,
Great.
that will be, in charge of that.
Okay. Awesome.
Sweet.
Great job, Sharon. Way to go. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Sharon.
Planning Commission. Ian, anything with Planning Commission?
I guess that's sorry.
Gail, anything with the Tree Committee?
Tree committee has not met, there has not been any items on the agenda, so we have not met for.
Sharon, Silent Lake Policy Management Council. I know, I don't know if we were going to talk about that tonight, or,
I don't think this is official.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that wasn't for tonight, but,
Okay.
we just had the garlic mustard pool. They ended up canceling the fourth of the 4 sessions because it was really successful and got done more than what was kind of originally planned, so that was awesome, thanks to all the volunteers. We are wrapping oak trees. Yeah. Yeah, the beaver's been busy, and so
Yeah.
there's some, wrapped trees to specifically protect that are more vulnerable in general, so, yeah, that is cool.
What do you wrap them
Beaver
with?
deceiver?
Yeah.
Chicken wire?
Yeah, that's what they call
Isn't that?
Chicken wire. Yeah. Mhm. Oh, yeah, they have, probably 3 dozen, 4 dozen softwoods, and they were beginning to chew a little bit on those trees. You know that, like, one little strip that, like, goes into the lake, all of the trees
Everything's gone.
are down
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
that were
Yeah,
there.
they are.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Those beavers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beavers are great.
I love
I love beavers.
Are you
Big
Big
fan.
Big Furry, those beautiful tails.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we are cool, yeah. I thought somebody snapped a photo of a weasel the other day. And I was like, what's this all? Didn't know there.
All right, Rob, it's not, was there anything else for Silent Lake?
Just this, but it's not ready to be talked about, there's discussion about parking.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Right, yeah, that came my way.
Would love to not parking in my apartment complex lot.
Parks and Rec, Rob is not here, to give us an update. Maybe we'll hear from him next month. Jean Talanda, we heard from a few months ago. We'll try to reach back out to her in another couple of months to get an update. Nicole, you said you were not able to make it to Kalamazoo River Watershed Council.
Thank you.
And the last piece is Odor Task Force. I did attend, Odor Task Force meeting on May 4th, in person for the first time in 2 years, with staff from the Kalamazoo Water Reclamation Plant, a couple of the, folks from, Jones and Henry, so they're the consultants that are designing and helping to, put in odor mitigation, stuff. Monica Brothers was there on the call, and, a few guys from, Graphic Packaging. I was there in person with Kalamazoo Water Reclamation Plant, and then everybody else was on a Zoom call. So I've got some notes, the graphic packaging expansion, continues. The big project, the big new machine that they put in has been online since February. Final construction is happening now, including parking lots, so most of they brought in like 1,000 contractors, to put the expansion in. Most of those contractors are done and out of that, not working in the area anymore. For the most part, they're close to just kind of running all of their new machines like regular. As far as graphic packaging using the EnviroSuite odor monitor system, they are continuing to work with the odor detect. There's battery issues. We talked about where the battery goes, and they've got to get new batteries. Getting parts for that is an issue. The company is in Canada. Parts and supply chain issues are affecting everybody, so they've been waiting on, there's solar chargers that have been defective. New detector units and batteries are being deployed there. They have 16 odor monitors up on their property. And they are looking at an updated service plan from EnviroSuite. They're looking basically at increasing, it sounds like at a greater cost, getting sort of an increased service plan from EnviroSuite. So I don't know if that means more monitors or more robust, because there's a software system that goes with it, where all that data goes into the software and then kicks back out, data that can show you where odor has been, where it might be going, along with weather data to help show, predict where that might go. Graphic packaging continues to use hydrogen peroxide and oxygen to mitigate odor. So the big open air clarifier, the way they describe it, has been working better for about 9 months. Because water is turning over quicker, which gives less chance for sludge to build up and smell to be created. Prior to the expansion, the open air clarifier was not being used at the capacity that it was rated for. So there was less water that was flowing through it, which allowed more sludge to collect, and that's what helps to create hydrogen sulfide and the raft of other chemicals that can be released into the atmosphere. With the expansion, there's a higher level of production, and there's more water being put through that clarifier, which means the clarifier is now working more efficiently, and sort of at what capacity it's rated for. Okay. They brought in a machine, so they're renting a machine that injects oxygen into the water, to reduce the opportunity for hydrogen sulfide to be created. Hydrogen peroxide is more expensive as an industrial product than oxygen. So they've got a machine that injects oxygen that they've been renting. They're working on purchasing a large machine to replace. They were kind of trying out this rented machine, and now they're working on purchasing the machine because it's shown, they've seen that it works. Graphic packaging expects to create around double the water discharge to the Kalamazoo Water Reclamation Plant they had prior to their expansion. City of Kalamazoo water reclamation plants having the same issues with these solar powered batteries. So they are trying to swap out for some new sensors. They're hoping to deploy 5 more sensors. The community-facing web page that compiles this sensor data still is not up because they're waiting on more stability from the sensors and the data that they're getting from those sensors. They are still working with the EnviroSuite company to get some new sensors and get all that stuff working a little better. What they discussed was that bidding for the biofilter project is supposed to begin, and that would have been 2 weeks ago. All the connecting pipes that come into the water reclamation plant will flow through that biofilter, which would ideally filter out some of the odor that's coming in. The the junction chamber where the wastewater comes off of that big clarifier and then goes into the water reclamation plant.
Right.
The idea, that Jones and Henry had come up with was rerouting, which direction that water goes. It's still kind of up in the air when or if that project might start. Could be this year, but probably next year. There's still supply chain issues with that even if they were able to plan that issue for the third quarter, because they were waiting for graphic packaging to finish their expansion. It sounds like the graphic packaging would be ready for the city, basically have all their contracts, everything cleared out of that area, because they got to dig way, they got to make a big pit and reroute that. But even if they could get to that this year, they're not sure that they could get the supplies they need piped. There was a drone study the week of May 23rd, so that's next week, that Eagle is doing, that monitors and uses grab sample capability to create a 3D map of odors in conjunction with Eagle. So Eagle has a few odor sensors, and they're going to use some of the EnviroSuite from data from Kalamazoo Water Reclamation Plant. So Eagle, and I think that is Monica Brothers that is kind of helping to coordinate that, should have more data for us soon, basically. So they're looking at odors not only at the street level, but to see where, create a 3D map of where those odors might be. Eagle Health Study, maybe late May, early June, still have not seen it. It sounds like the city is receiving about 2 to 3 odor complaints per month. And overall, Monica Brothers from Eagle has said that odor complaints have slowed in the last year or so compared to previous years. However, it is getting warmer and with they're heating up. Stronger odor in that area. I think that was about it. Yeah, that was the notes that I had from Odor Task Force. Yeah. So they're still working on, they've got the plans, but they're still working on getting a lot of the stuff in place in terms of rerouting the outflow from that clarifier, the underground junction chamber, and getting the biofilter installed, and hearing from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the EPA about long-term effects of hydrogen. Anything else for the good of the order? All right. Yeah, do we have any other
comments?
Yeah, citizen comments. Anybody on the line or any messages?
From Tina McClinton, flooding. Lucky no flooding so far.
Do you have one? Ready?
Yep.
Hello, you are caller number 1.
Hi, this is Richard Stewart.
Hi, Richard.
I'm a resident of the Southtown neighborhoods in the city of Kalamazoo, and I'd just like to bring up with the Environmental Concerns Committee that the politics are still moving forward to destroy our NFP green space along Stockbridge Lake area. So if you can be of any help in helping us protect our green space, it's our natural watershed and provides a break in the carbon footprint of our neighborhood. We want to protect it at all costs. Also, there appears to be no discussion on traffic-related air pollution that is increased by the starting and stopping of vehicular traffic. Portage Road, since they narrowed the road to 1 lane in each direction, you can literally smell the exhaust from the buses, and the starting and stopping has just tremendously increased that. And I believe this change of one-way traffic is going to impact the air quality due to increased traffic. It's not even in the discussion. Traffic-related air pollution, traffic. I would appreciate if the Concerns Committee could keep the pressure on the city to take air quality into account that they are creating with all the start and stop traffic. Traffic needs to stay at a consistent speed without stopping in order to lower the emissions that are going to occur with traffic. Starting and stopping are increasing air pollution in the city. It's being hidden in the shadows because we're not talking about it. If we don't talk about it during the design phase of these new streets, we are going to have a problem. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Richard. Good to hear from you.
2 seconds to see if there's anything else.
Okay.
Okay. Other callers?
Probably a lot of that in the north side as well, with all the truck traffic.
Right. Business was shut down.
My understanding from years ago, going to a Complete Streets meeting that the city was holding, was to make it a more walkable city and safer for walkers. So that is an environmental factor, but I would love that comment to be at the planning commission or planning department, because that's, this isn't something that has gone through us at all. And, so interesting to hear their comments on.
You do feel those fumes when you're biking or walking.
Yeah,
that's
more,
for sure.
more bikeable
Makes
and
everything.
more walkable and
More
increased
fumes.
public transportation.
But yeah,
all.
every time a bus stops, it has to take off again.
Right.
There's a big surge
I mean, that's
of
a-
emissions.
That's
Yeah.
a valid, issue.
Yeah, it is interesting, yeah.
Of course, if we electrify the fleet,
Yes, there you go. That
When
would,
we electrify.
When we
when we electrify the fleet,
Yeah.
that's right.
that would take care of that problem,
Yeah.
you're right.
Anything else?
Mitigation of trash into our waterways from dirtiness of the city. There's multiple areas, especially right around on Court Street, throughout the construction site, where there's a lot of trash that is blown homes or stuff like that has been collecting. And my concern is that a lot of them are ending up in our watershed, especially right around the site. The program is taking over a lot of that area. They're not really doing a whole lot to mitigate it from getting into the Kalamazoo River, which is also exacerbating the problem of the silts and stuff like that. So, and now that we have so many different agencies, there's no one really looking out for that. And so I'm just curious if there's any planning on, like, involvement or, like, community cleanup programs that go through you guys, or is that more of a city issue?
That's more through the city. I know that there was a cleanup plan that was canceled due to safety concerns.
I'm not talking about the river, I'm talking about the streets themselves. Because there's a lot of stuff, like especially up and down Court, because it's not a walked area a lot, where there's just a lot of trash that is accumulated, especially along that fence, the that's been sitting there for quite a while, because I live right in that area, and it's just, who is responsible for getting that cleaned up, or who should I talk to, or voice my concerns to?
Well, the ECC is who you should bring those concerns to as a citizen. And, if we hear that kind of stuff consistently, that's something that we can communicate with city staff about, or give recommendations to the city commission. Our role is to give recommendations to the city commission related to environmental issues.
Who would be the property owner of that area that you're
Technically,
referencing?
right now, I believe that it's gonna be the city, once the EPA is done with the brownfield cleanup, it's gonna become a community park. From what I
Yeah.
believe, the action plan or the plan was for that space, so it's gonna become more of a green space. So I think
Yeah,
once the EPA is done with its cleanup.
because I would think a lot of that would also be, it would need to be addressed by the property owner of where the trash is accumulating. Whether it's the city or whether it's a business or something, and maybe some request or some pressure could be put on the owner of the property to use some of the resources to clean it.
Well, and I think a lot of it does come from up on top of the hill there, from a couple of mats, the gas station, car wash,
Yeah.
and a couple, and, you know, the Hardings and stuff right there, stuff just naturally falling out of people's cars.
Goes down the hill.
Out there,
Yep.
and it's just not getting properly disposed of or taken care of, so it flows out.
Right.
So, you know, if we could stop it at its source, we could stop it from getting down, or into downtown as well.
Right.
I know we've talked before about like more public garbage bins,
Mm-hmm.
too, that's the thing that comes. A good answer besides.
I don't have a good answer for that. That's definitely something that we've talked about, you know, and other folks have, you know, and asked that same question. How do we clean up all the garbage that's just laying around? Whose job is it and how do you do it? You know, I mean, I think when we talk about the city about it, part of the answer is there's so much of it. There's not enough staff to, you know, to pay to go out and clean all that up. There's a handful of streets, they've got like 2 street sweepers, I think, for the city.
Two. We just bought a new one, but it's replacing one of the others.
Okay. So that is a great question. If you're applying to the ECC, we would love to have you come in and, you know,
Ideas.
we would love to keep that conversation going, so.
I mean, I wonder, well, aside from view from the curb, going to everyone, but what is, an awareness campaign of where litter
That was
goes?
one other thing that I ran into the issue. It wasn't until I got into the Kalamazoo website that if it gets to the street, it gets to the creek. And I've been in the city for a year, and that's the first time I heard that, and it took me 20 minutes deciding to find that information.
I will say our stormwater department does have a really great educational
Yeah.
piece
The
and
website is very
website.
cool. In the
I
schools,
think I heard it from them.
that stuff
Yeah.
is all over in the schools.
Okay.
That particular phrase is posted in every school building.
They have added
In Kalamazoo.
really great stuff showing like this goes into the waterways.
Oh, okay.
And,
That's something I
and there
didn't
are
know.
continued efforts to apply for grants that allow and funding for large nets and equipment to use on, stormwater outfalls that directly go into the river, 'cause it does. Anything in the street, to the creek.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, meeting is adjourned. Good work, Aaron. Good work. Yeah, that's awesome.